Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists of pointless things. Why are we flying by as Pointless Statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 are the Hearthglen Recruits and Kelly Duma, located in the Western Plaguelands. And so starting with the Hearthglen Recruits, there are numerous recruits just standing on top of each other, and there's some other recruits walking around and fighting perfectly fine, but for some reason, near this statue, there are just a bunch of them stacked on top of each other, and it's been like this every time I've checked it. In fact, the Hearthglen commander standing right next to them will just vanish randomly, and you're just like, wait, where'd he go? And then he'll just reappear, and you're like, whoa, where'd he go? How'd he get back here? Is he in the void? Zalatath, is that you? But then, nearby in the Northridge Lumber Camp, we have Kelly Duma, and Kelly's unusual because she has a weird baby carrier strapped to her back, and the baby also looks kind of unusual, and he's also not strapped in or anything. It looks like he's about to fall out, which is kind of weird. It looks like they just took one of the things that sits on the ground, like a little baby holder, and they just like strapped it to her back, and they're like, it's a baby backpack. And then she's also just carrying around a rolling pin for whatever reason. So a lot of unusual things in the Western Plaguelands, and that's why they're number 10. 9. Number 9 are all of the used up rockets at the Nozzle Pots outpost in the Northern Barrens. And there are just so many rockets here. I was actually referring to this as the rocket car graveyard in my pointless top 10 notes because there's just rockets scattered all about. There's rockets up in the trees. There's rockets that have been burned up. There's rockets that are actually good to go. You can see over here, there's actually rocket cars that haven't blown up yet. You can tell because they're red and not burned up and charred and all that. And so, like I mentioned before, this is Nozzlepot's outpost, which is run by the goblin Nozzlepot, and it's his research station. So I imagine they're just researching rocket cars and explosives. They do have a big thing of explosives and probably just anything you can imagine in terms of goblin engineering. And so yeah, I thought this is just not a place many people know about, as it's located in the post-cataclysm Northern Barrens of all places. So I just thought it was interesting having all these rockets burned up everywhere. Like I said, it's like a rocket graveyard, and so that's why the Nozzlepot's Outpost Rocket Graveyard is number 9. 8. Number 8 is this weird goblin house party going on in Bog Paddle in the Swamp of Sorrows. But it doesn't really seem like there's too many sorrows in this building, because there are orcs and humans that are just drinking, and they are watching the Bog Paddle entertainers, which are these two goblin girls, and they are just dancing. And then there's Frankie Goodtimes, and Frankie Goodtimes is the bartender, and he's pretty much got every alcohol you can imagine. Also, he's not wearing a shirt, and it's just kind of crazy. Like, I did not expect to find some wild goblin party going on here. And then the actual orcs and humans here are called the Stonard and Marshtide Carousers, which are the nearby settlements of the Alliance and the Horde. So it seems like some of the workers from those towns are just like, yo, I'm done working, I'm gonna go party at the goblin place, or Bog Paddle, I guess is the actual name. And so yeah, it seems like the orcs and humans are having a great time just getting drunk and watching the goblin girls dance, and then Frankie Goodtimes and the goblin girls are probably making a bunch of money off the drunk humans and orcs. So everybody's having a good time. So that's why the weird Bog Paddle house party bar is number 8. 7. Number 7 are these tiny pillories located at Hammerfall in the Arathi Highlands, and I'm pretty sure they're at a few other places in the game, but this is where I've seen them the most. And if you don't know, a pillory is a historical wooden frame on a post with holes for a person's head and hands, and it was used during medieval and Renaissance times, locking up wrongdoers in a place on a raised platform to expose them to public humiliation, insults, and thrown garbage. And it's not really the placement of the pillory here that I have a problem with. It's the actual old classic WoW pillory itself, because it's just so small. Like, I want to compare my gnome with this pillory so you can see how small it is. Like, I don't even know how he's supposed to fit in there. But then for a better example of a pillory, we can go to Borealis, where they kind of have a similar setup in a much more modern WoW environment. And you can see here the pillories are just bigger. It seems like you could actually fit a person or a gnome or whoever. I don't know, I keep bringing up gnomes. I guess because gnomes are small, but you can actually fit someone inside of these. So it's just really weird that the old ones are just so tiny. So either way, that's why the tiny pillories are number 7. 6. Number 6 are the animated skeleton arms located at the Crusader's Pinnacle in Icecrown. And I always thought it was just kind of a creepy area. They just got a tent here, and there's like some dead people hanging on the tree, and then there's all the skeletons scattered around, but then there's those weird arms just kind of animatedly. Is that even a word? Animatedly? I have no idea, but they're being very animated as they try to escape from the ground or reach for something or whatever it might be. And I just thought it was a very creepy and unusual area, but the animated arms kind of of added that extra touch where I was like, yo, this is actually really weird. And there is actually a quest related to this area from High Lord Tyrion Fordring, and he says, you must take this banner to the northwest through the breach to an area the Scourge have mockingly named Crusader's Pinnacle. Plant the banner atop the skulls of our fallen brethren at Crusader's Pinnacle and defend it against the attack. Once the land is sanctified, return to Father Gustav. And so after you do that quest, this area here gets removed and it becomes a little town. I also didn't know that the Scourge mockingly named this Crusader's Pinnacle, so I thought that was kind of unusual too. So either way, that's why all this Crusader Pinnacle stuff is number 6. 5. Number 5 is a couple things, starting with the Jinyu House located in the Jade Forest in the Mist of Pandaria, as well as the Gnomragon Dormitory. And so I wanted to start with the Jinyu House because they have these 3 mirrors on the wall, which I thought is really weird for just the house for the fish people. You know what I mean? Like, they have 3 mirrors like we're in a barber shop, and I'm pretty sure they reused barbershop assets here because you can see there's like a razor and like a little thing for shaving cream or water or something. So I don't know why the Jinyu are shaving. Like the Jinyu, they're just like scaly fish people. Like they don't have hair. They don't have hair. They don't have facial hair. Like what are they shaving? But in addition to that, I wanted to talk about the clamshell beds because I did mention this in Pointless Top 10 Beds, but they're just really unusual beds. It's like they took clamshells, cut them in half, and then they just sleep in them. They replaced the pearl with a pillow, and there you go. Which honestly, it is pretty resourceful. And I guess it does make sense that they'd sleep in them. Honestly, it makes more sense than the shaving cream or the razor. And then finally, we get to the gnomish beds located in the Gnomragon Dormitory. And this is just a weird and unusual area. Like the beds are actually made out of gears and they put some basic mattress on top of a metal platform. It is very Gnomragon-esque, but it was just interesting to find this, and then the Trogs have taken over. But even if the Trogs weren't here and the gnomes were sleeping here, I'd still think it was pretty unusual. In fact, I didn't even know the Gnomragon dormitories existed until I was intricately looking through Gnomragon for Pointless Top 10 stuff. So either way, that's why everything I just mentioned is number 5. 4. Number 4 is Lil Rordan, and Lil Rordan is a young Rylak located at the Crimson Fen in Gorgrond. And as you can see, Lil Rordan is standing above the body of Huron, who is a Draenei that seemingly died here, and that is his hammer, because if you go to loot it, it is Huron's huge hammer. Also, if you do try to loot it, Lil Rordan will get upset and he will attack you, and I imagine he's just like, yo, this is my hammer, you're not taking it from me, you don't take candle, you don't take hammer. But anyway, Lil Rordan is likely the child of Rordan, who is seen flying around this area, and it's likely a reference to Rodan from the Godzilla movies, which now I've just realized that it's probably Rordan and Lil Rordan, not Dan. So, I mean, you know what? I've already recorded everything. We're learning together. That's what this is all about. We're all learning. But another unusual thing is, why is Hurand even up here? Because he's like dead in the nest. So like, did he come up here to kill Rordan or Lil Rordan, and then he just died and his hammer's here, and then Lil Rordan's just like, ooh, a hammer, right? Or maybe he was just exploring, but like this is on top of a mushroom. So did he like start climbing mushrooms or something? Like, I have no idea. It's weird. So that's why Lil Rordan and Hurand are number 4. 3. Number 3 is Kilkaril, and Kilkaril is a jungle troll quest giver located at Bombala in northern Stranglethorn Vale. And Kilkaril has quite a few quests he gives out. There's one about taking out the Venture Company because they've been destroying the land that he grew up in. There's one about how his mother was captured by the Skull Splitter tribe and burned in a brazier, and so he wants you to go put out the braziers because they give him like PTSD. Like, he's actually got some really sad quests about the destruction of his family and his home. But that's not the unusual part about Kilkaril. The unusual part is he's making all these weird animations and singing. Like, I don't really know why he's singing, but when you click on him, it says the troll sings to himself and stares into the cauldron. He appears to be injured. The thing is, with all his quests, he doesn't really talk about being injured, so I don't know if he's just hiding his injury or maybe that's why he's kneeling down here, but it's just, no matter what the case is, he's just making a bunch of really unique and unusual facial animations that I haven't really seen on any other troll in World of Warcraft, so that's why Kilkaril is number 3. 2. Number 2 is the Burning Hemet Nessingwary statue located in the Borean Tundra. And this is one that I completely forgot about, so when I stumbled across this while flying around, I was just like, dude, what is this? And then I didn't even realize that it was Hemet Nessingwary. And so if you read the little plaque in front of the Burning Hemet Nessingwary, it says, "Wanted, Hemet Nessingwary for crimes against nature. artist rendition of the extinctionator, it's a hard word to say, in his natural habitat. And so this is all set up by DETA, which is obviously a, play off of PETA in real life, but it's the Druids for Ethical and Humane Treatment of Animals, and it's an organization based primarily in Northrend and is a radical portion of the Cenarian expedition. In fact, this organization was created in direct opposition to Hemet Nesingwary. It's also interesting because if you kill any animal in the Borean tundra, you will actually be given the animal blood debuff, and if you go around DETA at all, they will become hostile and attack you on sight until the debuff goes away from the blood drying up or washing off, which you can actually do by just jumping in any pool of water. But yeah, I completely forgot this existed, and it just felt really unusual to come across this burning statue of Hemet Nesingwary in the Borean tundra, so that's why it's number 2. And number 1 are the Quillbore meal tenders in Razorfen Kraal. And I'm really surprised I never noticed this before, but when you go to Razorfen Kraal, there's a group of non-aggro Quillbores that are just cutting up a mountain lion, or like they've killed numerous mountain lions, and then the meal tender will come out with a frying pan and grab some of the mountain lion meat, which is kind of funny because they pick it up and it's like an already cooked turkey leg looking thing, and then they bring it back to the fire and it gets consumed, and then they just keep swirling around their frying pan, which has always got steam coming from it as well. And then nearby, there's also a Quillbore with a rolling pin and another Quillbore with a frying pan. So it's really weird. I can't believe I never noticed this. I didn't notice this until I specifically started going in dungeons looking for pointless top 10 stuff, and I was like, what is this? This is crazy. But I guess Razorfen Kraal is the ancestral home of the Quillbore, so it would make sense that they just have some Quillbore in here kind of living their normal lives or trying to make do with whatever's going on, because obviously there's some crazy stuff going on in here, you know what I mean? But it's just really unusual, and so that's why the Quillbore meal tenders are number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. If you want more top 10s, there's weird things underwater. That's kind of unusual. Or if you really want to waste your time, I just put up a 6-hour compilation of pointless top 10s related to creatures. Also, like the video and comment below your favorite unusual things in World of Warcraft. Okay? Okay. See ya.